Hey there, anime fan. I'm reviewing Sailor Moon Crystal Episode 3, Sailor Mars. The story begins with Serena just randomly following Ray home one day after school. Why, Meatball Head? Meanwhile, buses are disappearing along with their hapless passengers.
Nah, if only they would've owned a car, this wouldn't happen.
And Ray's lost a little moppet friend of hers to the sheer evil of public transportation. The next day, the kid's mom comes seeking Ray's psychic assistance.
Rather than calling the police.
Actually, Ray points that out, and Mom of the Year gets all conspiracy happy until Usagi shows up. By then, Ray's had just about enough and kicks the whole lot of them out. But when she gets visions of Serena's horrible doom,
she sensibly stays out of Fate's way and goes to get a discount sushi platter.
Okay, first off, I've had cheap sushi and I do not recommend it. Second, Ray does the right thing and goes to rescue her new friend, only to get captured by Jedi herself. But not before Usagi hitches a ride to the Dark Kingdom's Doom Fortress, where she's soon joined by Sailor Mercury. But two Senshi are just no match for Jed. That's when Ray transforms into Sailor Mars and turns the tide. And with that, the girls free the hostages and save the day. You know, these things are getting better. But this one still gets off to a rocky start. Now, I only have the original English dub to go off of here, but in that one, the girls were working the streets chasing down rumors of disappearing buses. In Crystal, they just kinda luck into it. And Serena just happened to be hanging around when Ray got snatched. And she just decides to hitch a ride to the Negaverse. I think I liked it better when the girls had to Nancy Drew it out. Now, the star of this episode is, of course, Sailor Mars. And I have to say, what an improvement over the original English dub. In that one, Ray was an anime girl version of Starscream, always whining about how she's not the leader. This Sailor Mars is more quiet and introverted, but not in the same way as Amy. No, she's more cool and aloof, but instead of coming off as standoffish, they make it clear that Sailor Mars' psychic powers make it hard for her to socialize with other people. This probably needs to be elaborated on a little more, but for now, I'll take their word for it. Mars also shines in the episode's action scene. Her trademark pyrotechnics are in full effect. But instead of just one fireball, Mars makes the entire room burst into flames. This is definitely the best action scene of the show so far.
Like that's hard.
All three scouts use their superpowers in combination, but they still fight like Terminators, just blasting away without being light on their feet. Which would be an interesting choice, but I can't help but feel that it's just to save on the animation budget. Outside of combat, all three Senshi do their particular thing. Ray uses her psychic powers, Amy gets to do some high-speed technical stuff, and Serena... Okay, I think I finally get where they're going with her. Whenever something bad happens, Serena's the first one to jump to the rescue. But when she's in the thick of it, she reverts to her whiny, incompetent self. Thanks for all that quality training, Luna. Now, there's clearly a ways to go, but eventually, Sailor Moon will be the hero she's supposed to be. The kind that needs help from a dedicated support staff and animal sidekicks to kill anything bigger than a Karibo. No, wait.
Don't forget about her boyfriend.
Speaking of, in Crystal they make the sensible decision to make Darien a high school student. So we're making progress on that front. And finally, the tone of Crystal seems to be going more serious than the English dub. Back then, the Yoma were a lot goofier and the slapstick more prevalent. But Crystal seems to be going darker and more intense. We'll see if that ends up being a good thing or not. Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Sailor Moon Crystal Episode 3. On the good side, Sailor Mars is a lot more likable than her previous anime counterpart. All three girls get to do at least something, and the action is improving. On the other hand, the action isn't what I would call great, and the episode's setup isn't as clever as it should have been. So I give Sailor Moon Crystal Episode 3 a 3.5 out of 5. If you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913, or find me on Facebook for video updates and more. Thanks for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.